My name is Carina Gardner, and I'm what you would call a practical designer. If you're ready to create a life that you love, become an incredible force for good, and generate income while pursuing your dreams, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Make and Design.
So usually I don't talk about this kind of thing, but I have been seeing enough of this going on for the last 6 months that it's just time to address it. And address it, I am going to in today's episode. Now, originally I named the title of this Disappointed in You Surface Pattern Design. I changed it for a little bit more positive of a spin, saying we can do better because I think we can. And so what I would like to do is, unfortunately, I'm going to have to talk about some negative things that I see going on right now, but I think it needs to be addressed. And second of all, I hope that we can end it on a positive note, because I think that there's some things going on in the industry that have been bothering me quite a bit. And I'm not sure if it just is coming out of COVID, the state of the current economy, or what, but I'm just going to get real with you guys for a little bit. I have been seeing for the last 6 months, and I'm not talking about just on my feed, I'm seeing it on a lot of people's feeds as I kind of like move around in lots of different social media platforms, and people are sending me stuff that they're saying about other people. So this is not just about me. This is about what I'm seeing throughout the industry, okay? I am seeing so much negativity. People throwing other people down, saying their stuff isn't good, telling them that they're not good enough, that they can't do X, Y, and Z. I have seen people take some of the people in the industry who've been doing this for a little while and just talk very, very ugly and very negative about them. And I've seen some of it for myself, but not nearly as much as what I've seen throughout all over in the surface pattern design industry. I have not seen this in the crafting industry, not at least like this. I saw it back in the day a little bit, early days scrapbooking, when people would get on Facebook or, into little forums and kind of be a little bit nasty. And so that's where I thought it stayed. But I don't know if all of those people decided to transfer into surface pattern design, but there is an ugliness that I am not seeing in the other industries. I certainly don't see it I haven't seen it anyway, in freelancers. Maybe it's because a lot of freelancers keep to themselves. But there is a certain amount of scarcity mindset that I'm seeing in the surface pattern design world that is not pretty, okay? Now, I'm guessing, because you're here listening to me, and I love positivity, and my big thing is bringing you up, talking to you about really trying and facing the challenges of being a designer. And ironically, even though I am a surface pattern designer, which you guys know I don't love that name, but industry has kind of dictated that as the name. I like fabric design, textile design, wallpaper design, scrapbooking design. But yeah, surface pattern, it encompasses all of that. But there is a certain amount of, I think, because there have been so many people who are what I would call semi-educated and taking coursework, which there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, I would say go take as much from every person out there as you can so that you can learn about what it takes to be in that industry. What I am seeing is, because there's so many people who desire it, want it, that there is this huge scarcity mindset also around it. The other thing that's very fascinating about it is that in all of the industries that I'm currently in, and I'm a lot, like clip art, stickers, SVGs, printables, font design. I'm in a lot of different types of product types. And then, of course, physical product types. It is the only one that I see that, first of all, makes very little money compared to the others. So I think that is contributing to that scarcity mindset. And it's also the only other one where an industry, and in particular, I'm going to talk about it, and man, I'm sorry I'm talking about it, but the quilting industry has made it so that people think it is a bigger deal than it is. And I think this is there's a lot of negative things that are consequences from this. So what happens in the quilting industry or the fabric industry in general, when we put brand names on quilting fabrics, and it becomes more about the ego of the designer than it is about the actual money made to be a designer in that industry. Well, a lot of things happen, right? So one of the things I see happen is that more people want it because there is a constant need by not just designers, but people in general, right, to feel better about what we're doing and to get recognition and acknowledgement for what we're doing. And social media has risen up, brought up all of these designers, including myself, because I'm a fabric designer, where you see these people at the forefront and you think that they are making a lot of money. You think that what they're doing must be just so fabulous and cool. They spend their whole day sewing and quilting. They spend their whole day designing these fabrics and these repeat patterns, and it just must be the most fabulous life ever. And then furthermore, I see this all the time where there'll be posts tell me your favorite designer or tell me your favorite fabric line. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong about this, but you start to notice that people want to get on a bandwagon. Well, I follow so-and-so and I love this person. And they want to be kind of, I hate to say this, cultish almost about it and about that particular design work that person is doing or the company that they work for. And I see this all around. It's starting to get worse. I thought it was pretty bad even when Instagram and Facebook started. I think it's become increasingly worse, especially as I see fabric designers choose influencers over actual designers for their design lines because they need to garner audience. Now, there's nothing 100% wrong with that. In fact, if anything, I think it's really brilliant on the part of fabric companies, but it is contributing to this overall kind of atmosphere of where surface pattern designers or fabric designers or, scrapbooking designers, whatever designer you want to talk about, there's a lot more ego involved rather than making money or running businesses involved. And so these people or any of them feel like they need to be influencers, which is really interesting. And then there are those who haven't made it, right? Maybe you're listening here and one of the things that is on your to-do list is to become a fabric designer for a manufacturer. I love that. I love that that's one of your dreams. Do not take that off your list of things that you want to do. I think that's a really fabulous thing. It's just not what everybody thinks it's going to be. That's what I'm going to put out there. It's not what everyone thinks it's going to be. And so keep it on your list, but remember that it's icing on the cake. It's not the cake itself. And so that way you become a designer that's worthy of making money, building a real business. And then it's lovely if you get this manufacturer deal on top of everything else. I think that's a really fun way to, get some extra money and to also showcase your work, right? Getting the actual physical fabric is very, very fun. Okay. So really what I just want to address is what I am seeing. One of my coaches sent me a screenshot of someone just ripping apart someone else in the industry. And it was very ugly. It wasn't on me, but it was very ugly. And I felt very disappointed in the people who were contributing to that. Because it seems like one person starts and then it becomes groupthink and lots of people will come up afterwards and be like, yeah, I felt that way too. And da, 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 da. And I'm not saying that everyone's program is perfect. And I'm not saying that you can't talk about some of those things that you wish that you had gotten out of whatever person's program or from that design that you were trying to get out of it. I'm just saying when you do it in a public forum in that way, it looks ugly on you. And if you contribute to it, then you are contributing to that groupthink as well, right? It's just my feelings about it, you guys, because I'm used to people being nice. And I have a program where all the people in it are very lovely. The people are very kind and lovely to each other. And I sometimes forget what it's like. And then I will see something and it just kind of throws me for a loop. And I'm like, wait, people are saying those kinds of things and they're not being kind. And maybe it's also because it's an election year. And maybe that's part of it as well. But people have been more unkind behind their computers than ever before in the last 6 months, as I'm seeing it. Maybe I'm just opening my eyes to it now, and maybe you've been seeing it this whole time. So my challenge to all of us, especially those listening, is we can do better. We can absolutely do better. We can be kinder and we can say nicer things. We can lift everybody up. It doesn't mean we can't critique. You guys have heard me talk about critiquing. Critiquing is a very different thing than just throwing a lot of negative stuff out there. Critiquing, as we talk about it in the academic world, when I taught at the University of Minnesota, it was going around the room. You're not ripping the person apart. You're ripping the work apart to make it better. And that's a really different goal than someone who's just trying to vent, right? Critiquing is trying to make something better. And you have control over making it better. If you don't have any control over making something better, then you're just venting. You're just saying negative things, right? And you need to find the place and the forum for that. And there absolutely are places and forums for that, but it's generally not on a social media feed. It's generally not in an open forum. It's just unkind at that point. And I'm always surprised by it because I just keep thinking, especially with the demographic of women that I work with, that I think all of us grew up with the saying, like, if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. So let's do better. And I'm guessing you listening here, you do better. You're very kind. You're very nice. You want to contribute to the world. And I would say it's not necessarily that you have to go into the defense of people, but when you see that, pass over it. Don't be friends with those people. They're unkind. It's not great for the industry. It makes us look bad as an industry. It really does. It makes us look ugly. And that's my biggest concern. My other concern about it is this. In the academic world of design, okay, there is so much you can do. Web development design, book illustration, marketing materials like brochures, catalogs, production design, craft design, printable design, teacher and, other kind of career development design work, logos and branding design. There is like all of these amazing fields that have been around forever where designers can create so much, right? Surface pattern design, first of all, the name of it even is far more recent. Second of all, it is, in my opinion, one of the easiest methods of design, which is why I think there's such a low barrier to entry for all these people who want to do it, who haven't been formally educated, who want to do it. And then it contributes to that scarcity mindset because there's so many people in it. And you don't have to be a great designer to do surface pattern design. Oh my gosh, there, I said it. And I know someone is going to be angry about that. But you guys, directional design, focal point, like actually talking about design, creating something interesting that you can talk about. In a lot of ways, surface pattern design, creating patterns, not the strongest design area or field. In my opinion, pretty low. Like it isn't even like you have to go make me a brochure and it's going to take you hours to figure out best placement, where to put the logo, how to make the type legible, how to use color in a way that doesn't distract but actually adds and benefits, how the folds work in that brochure, how a person consumes it, the user experience. Okay, it's like complicated. Surface pattern design is a pattern. You put it on a fabric, you put it on a piece of paper, you put it on a wall. It is illustration at its basis form. Like it's not complicated. There are, yes, of course, focal points, use of color, the way the negative space moves. But like in terms of like understanding it, trying to create legibility, try to communicate visually, it's more on the pretty end of things and less on the usable end of things. And so because of that, it's actually in some ways, in my opinion, okay, now this is my opinion, the basest form of design. Which when people come to me and say, I just want to be a surface pattern designer, I'm like, okay, that's great. I can help you do that. But why not more, guys? Why not more? Why not know how to create great logos? Why not know how to create branding materials? Because guess what? You're going to have to do it for yourself in your own design business. Why not more understanding of how to actually design well and put together a website that makes sense? Why not know how to do book illustrations so there's hierarchy and the typography makes sense and there's legibility and you know what eras a typography piece comes from? Why not more, guys? And so like what I'm seeing contributing to all of these things I'm seeing in the industry right now has everything to do with the placement of where surface pattern design is, even on the scale of great design. And it's low. It's just visible is what it is. And then you add in the social media aspects. You add in that it's being taught by so many people because it can be taught because it's the easiest form of design. I'm not saying that it's just easy to get a fabric contract. I'm not saying that it's easy to create over a long period of time. Like, after 3 months or so, you could get pretty darn good at it, okay? And it only takes a couple lessons to create a great repeat. What I'm saying is more, guys, more. Make yourself learn more. Give yourself more to do in this industry. And we can do better as a group. And the fact that I'm even having to talk about this feels very odd because I never thought I would. I never thought I would. But we can do better. And I don't know what all the answers are, but it felt right to come on and tell you guys about this because I know we can do better. And the ones listening here, you are full of positivity. You're full of light and energy. And those are the things that make you a good designer. That light and energy, they make you an excellent designer. They give you creativity. It gives you the space for it, the mind space for it. That positivity is powerful. And the people who are spending their time being negative, venting about, X, Y, and Z, following and copying other people's designs, which you guys know people do, right? That is not for you. You're going to do better. And I am hoping that the 1%, the 5%, it sure seems like it's growing, you guys. I hope those people will go away, but they're not going to. They're going to hang around and they're not going to get anywhere. I have never seen someone who has spent their time trashing other people's work, copying other people's work, trying to, just get ahead in that way, especially making base comments about other people. I have never seen those people truly get ahead, make any kind of substantial amount of money. I've never seen them really move forward, and they're just frustrated. And it says a lot more about them than it does about you or the people that they're bashing. But I still think we could do better. And those people, we've got to do our best to ignore them, perhaps unfollow them. Guys, seriously, unfollow them. Don't let that into your life. You need to keep yourself open, light, and free, and so that you are creating work that will make you happy, that will bring you light, okay? You got this. And I hate talking about this, but I do think that hopefully me talking about it will help all of us get a little bit better and spend our time critiquing, not venting. And if it just doesn't apply, if nothing's going to get better from whatever we're going to say, just don't say it. It's not worth it, guys. All right. kind of an interesting episode today. I am going to get back on track. You're going to see the next few episodes me talking more about design. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but recently with just all my time constraints, with all the cool new things that I'm doing, and I'm so excited about, you guys, just so many cool things happening in our company. I just want to say that you may see some changes. For example, we were doing 3 podcasts a week, and just recently, for just only about 6 months, we had also been including classic episodes into that so that some of the older episodes would be seen. We've actually stopped putting those up, and we are now down to 2 episodes a week. And a lot of that is because I also have a secondary podcast called Design Your Life. And if you want to learn more about that, you have to go to designsuitecourses.com/design events. You can see the Design Your Life in there. It's a private podcast. And I've been focusing more on that. And I've been focusing more on other things that are going to really help my designers move. You guys know I've been talking about AI, and I'll probably talk more about it on this podcast. It is, as I get deeper into it, I think it is starting to feel an awful lot like it did 20 years ago when I was teaching Adobe for the first time. And I will try to remember to talk about that as well. But I think that those that are not paying attention are going to be left behind. And we are doing our best to incorporate it into our Design Suite coursework so that we can teach people more about AI, make sure that we are up and coming, we're being smart, we're utilizing it. There are other things going on in the industry that we're teaching and working with our designers on. And basically, business, you guys, is adaptable, and we've got to be really smart about it. And so I'm kind of scaling back on a few things, going big on other things. For example, on YouTube, we started a Design Around the World series. If you haven't seen it, starting to spend more time showing what I'm doing everywhere all over the world and talking about the design I'm seeing there. So trying to do more fun, entertaining things, but also kind of scaling back on certain things like this podcast. So I would say tune in for the episodes that are going to be here, because we are digging in. We're going to dig in, and I'm getting a little more real about, I've always been real about design, but real about what I'm seeing in the industry, because I do think it affects business. And I think that I know where I'm headed, and I want to share some of that with you guys and why I'm making the decisions I'm making. And a lot of that is based on what I'm seeing in the industry, why I think that design is changing, and most of us are not changing fast enough to move with it. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you soon.
Did you know you have access to more free design content, die cut files, and sewing patterns? Join our exclusive VIP group for free by going to designsuitecourses.com/free.